Years ago, we were talking to a top agent at UTA, and we at the Daily Wire were maybe going to do some work with UTA, the agency. And they said there's just one thing that we're not allowed to do if we really want to make it in high levels of media and show business. And here's what they said we can't do.
That movie ain't going to no theaters.
Unless you warn everybody.
One of the top agents at UTA came to us years ago, not that many years ago, a couple of years ago, and said, "Hey, we'd love to work with you guys. We can do some huge things together." And I said, "No, there's no way you'll ever do huge things with us. We believe this, we believe that." He said, yeah. We don't care about any of that. We just care about, there's an opportunity here. We want to take it. He said, the only thing is you got to back off this trans issue. So I don't care what you say about abortion, don't care what you say about religion, don't care what you say about who to vote for, don't care what you say about taxes. Got to back off this trans issue. This is the religious issue of our time for the left. This represents the culmination of their religious beliefs. And so when we went to theatrical distributors, it was not even going to engage in the conversation. It's not that they passed. It was just like, here's a great example. The Hollywood trades have covered every movie we've made at Daily Wire so far. They won't even write about this one. And I understand, because that would be putting themselves on the other side of the actual religion that matters within their industry.
He's totally right. He's totally right. This is the religious issue. And it's religious in the sense that transgenderism, when you actually get down to it, is not about the science, and it's not even just about the decadent sexual desires of depraved leftists. It's about a religious question. Is the human nature best explained by traditional religion, the Christian view that we're body and soul united here, hylomorphic beings, or is human nature best described by Gnostic dualism, best described by the notion that the physical world and the metaphysical world are not joined together, but they're actually in opposition, that the physical world is evil and the metaphysical world is the secret truth? It's an ancient heresy. It's cropped up a number of times in history, and it's cropped up again. So it is Jeremy's actually being precise in his language here. It is a religious issue. The only thing that's frustrating here is it's not the only religious issue for the left. Well, there's a lot that's frustrating about a top agent telling us that. But part of it is that it's not the only religious issue. That top agent is a nice guy. He didn't realize that right now, the one issue you're not allowed to talk about is transgenderism. But 2 years from now, it'll be some other issue. And 10 years ago, it was some other issue. And it's always changing. So they think they're being really magnanimous. They say, look, you can talk about whatever you want. You can believe whatever you want. We're so liberal. We're so open-minded. There's just this one thing. And the one thing is always the crucial issue that matters. The one thing is always the issue that is really hot, that could go maybe one way or the other, where public opinion actually matters, where there could be serious political consequences. We're allowed to talk about so-called gay marriage now. You know why? Because it's a dead issue at the moment, because the Supreme Court invented some new definition of marriage. Because the romantic poet Anthony Kennedy on the Supreme Court found in invisible ink in the Constitution a special constitutional right to intimacy or whatever. And at the time when there was something even vaguely resembling a debate over the nature of marriage, you weren't really allowed to talk about that. You'd lose your job. Remember, they ran Brandon Ike out of Mozilla, out of Firefox, the creator of Firefox, because he had donated a very small amount of money to a ballot proposition that was going to define marriage as what it had always been, namely a union between a man and a woman. A ballot proposition in liberal California that passed. Even the liberal Californians said, yeah, we know what marriage is. And because the leftist vindictive operators found out that this somewhat prominent guy in business had donated, like 5 cents to the proposition, they destroyed his career. At that time, you were not allowed to talk about it. That was the one issue. But then they won on that issue, and it doesn't look like the fake definition of marriage is particularly endangered at the moment. So, okay, you can talk about that. Go play in your sandbox, conservatives. Talk about anything that doesn't matter. But don't talk about transgenderism. And here's their argument. They'll say, because right now there's a real threat to trans Americans. about whether they have access to life-saving, gender-affirming care. And when they say those sorts of things, they're admitting to you the strategy. They're saying, yeah, you're not allowed to talk about anything that matters. You can talk about things that don't matter, but you can't talk about anything that matters. That's where we draw the line. Oh, okay, so you're saying we can never have any influence in the public square. Okay, yeah, no thanks. No thanks. We're going to go do our own thing.